You know, the promise was never that life was going to make perfect sense all the time. The promise was Psalm 23, that he was going to be our shepherd, that he was going to be present in the context of unresolved tension. It's exactly to the churches of the unresolved tension that Peter is speaking to. And I'm talking about internal conflict, unresolved tension, a lot of oppression, and then severe persecution. This is chapter 2, verse 4 of 1 Peter, that he speaks and reminds the church that they're able to come to him. What's the win? The win is not the dissipation, not the unresolving of the tension. The promise is that when he's present, he's able to carry us through the tension. This is Philippians 4:13, right? I can do all things who strength to see. The promise is on the strengthening. Not that we're able to do everything, but it's that he will strengthen us. So Peter reminds us, hey, you're coming to him, and then he describes it as the him as a living stone. So not only that he is able to bring us into him, but obviously we are called to persevere. Peter is speaking to the churches that need to persevere through severe persecution. But the perseverance of the saints, as important as it is the result of the preservation of the saints. It is God who preserves his church. And then Peter kind of turns things around. Here's the unresolved tension, because in the same sentence, in the same scenario, Peter describes this very same rock or stone as the one who was rejected by the people. See, here's what people need to be reminded 2,000 years. People in severe persecution, people in a lot of conflict, that the rejection of Jesus, that's exactly what we're called and brought into to join. And that rejection was established and settled and predetermined before the foundations of the world. That people who rejected Jesus, they were simply instruments. They were made responsible, but they were instruments of what God established before the foundations of the world. Whatever is going on in our lives today, I'm telling you, if you're a follower of Christ, those experiences, positive and negative, they're instruments to fulfill the purposes of God in your life. He closes by bringing us into this beautiful celebration, because this is what he said. This is why we know what we know. We know that God is in control and that he rules over everything, because he says at the end, but it's choice and precious in the sight of God. Rejected by men, precious in the sight, meaning that it was God's predetermined eternal plan of salvation that was going to utilize the servant of God to be abandoned so you and I can be reconciled and accepted on a day like this. Have a wonderful day. God bless.